welcome to another episode of Rec Talk. Today we have one of the giants of the recruitment world, haven't we? Pun intended.
There, yeah.
Rich Berrisford, how we doing?
Hello, all good, thanks guys, yeah. Good to be here, thanks for having me. Yeah, looking forward to it.
Good. So giant is like literally like you think sort of recruitment product, you think giant, don't you?
Yeah, well do you know what? You know, I've been in recruitment sales for, I don't know, 10, 15 years now, and Giant's always been a name out there that, you know, a lot of people don't quite know exactly what we do because we do so much. That's part of it. So a lot of it's associated with umbrella payroll because that's historically what Giant's done.
Well, that's what we know them for, don't we?
Yeah. A lot of people will know it. You know, you say Giant, they go, oh yeah, you're the payroll guys. Because we've been doing it for so long. But I'm specifically on the Invoice Finance side, Giant Finance Plus. Been here.
Giant Finance Plus. So somebody in marketing had a really good time thinking about that.
Yeah. What's the plus stand for? Yeah, I don't know. Nobody knows.
Everything else we do.
Yeah, everything else. I think that's it.
Plus what? Plus
Yeah. So I've been here for about three and a half years now.
Okay.
Doing Invoice Finance and working with recruiters and
So were you in the payroll world before that?
I was, a long time ago. I've done umbrella payroll. I've done sort of generic payroll, a bit of accounts way back when. Don't ask me anything about that because that is another life ago. You know, I've just accountsy stuff.
Yeah, we've only just got started. I don't want to go to sleep yet.
Well, I was literally just like when you came, I was on the phone to our finance manager and on like back and forth with phone calls with our accountant, and I'm like, guys, you've got a VAT bill wrong.
Yeah.
Too damn high.
Yeah. So I've done a bit of everything, but it's all been recruitment sales really. You know, that's been the overarching thing.
That's super important though in the recruitment world.
Yeah.
Because obviously, within recruitment, we always kind of try and steer clients not away necessarily, but actually we always talk to them and say, would you consider somebody outside of your industry?
Yeah.
And we like, especially when we recruit like accounts or tech or anything like that, it's always like, but if you can account in like financial services, you'll be able to account in energy and utilities because you know it's regulated environments, blah blah blah. Yeah. But in the recruitment world, we're actually a lot
the
more.
The industry is more. It's one of the few industries where they're like, no. I want people who truly understand. Again, talking about our accountant, that we literally had this argument this morning. Our accountant needs to understand how our business works for them to be able to calculate things like the VAT bill properly, because that's just not right. You know what I mean? Like they're missing a very obvious part of kind of how our business operates. Yeah. And I suppose from your point of view, having the level of experience you've got within the recruitment world, especially when you're dealing with recruitment business owners, you know, you got to have a level of experience to be able to be like, no, I get the challenge.
Well, it's all down to that whole know your customer thing, isn't it? And it's cliche, but you've got to know the industry that you're selling into. Like I've never been in recruitment as such. I've never been a recruiter. I've been asked a lot by clients that I'm working with, but you know, do you fancy getting into recruitment?
You'd have ruined your career. I've yet to meet anybody who's moved away from like kind of recruitment supplier sales into a recruitment desk and actually do well. I'm yet to meet.
It goes the other way a lot, doesn't it? You get people from recruitment because that makes sense.
That's a really good point. Actually, I'm thinking about
it doesn't work because we sell them the dream, and then it just. I've never met anybody that and I've been doing this for 10 years.
Yeah.
However, the other way around, absolutely. I mean, case in point being, we're looking at bringing on somebody to come and work for Rec Tools.
Yeah.
And what we want is a former recruiter.
Yeah.
For the reason that we're like, look, they get the model, they get the business, they get the type of challenges these guys are going through.
Or maybe
they'll understand the product that we're selling.
Or a business development manager.
His boss will watch this.
This is an ambush. It's a job interview.
Sign the contract right. But I suppose talking about VAT and all that sort of stuff, that leads us, I suppose, quite nicely into the invoice finance world, isn't it? Yeah. Because actually a lot of, and I don't realise the scale of businesses that actually use invoice financing in terms of like even big businesses. I mean, when we were because we didn't realise that our payroll system at Page was ran by Giant, because you guys do the back office timesheet stuff for that. Yeah. And I found out years later that they actually invoice finance as well. And it was like flipping out, a big FTSE listed business, like £1 billion in the bank, and invoice finance.
You know, you think about it, it's cash flow, isn't it? You know, it doesn't matter how big you are, you're not getting paid by your client for 30 days, 40 days if you're lucky, even longer. And you've got to pay out your candidates every week. And if you're a small startup and you've got 10 workers, that might be a couple of grand a week. You know, have you got that in your bank account to stretch 6 weeks?
This is the problem for a lot of startup businesses, though, because
we nearly went out of fucking business. Remember the first, one of our first placements? Within the first month
that we had out, we're like, we'll finance it. And then we're like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
Well, people don't pay.
It creeps up on you as well, doesn't it?
We ended up placing somebody at DHL, and like the hiring manager that we were working with, really good guy, and he was like, yeah, no worries, we'll get it all signed off, and actually we'll try and get you on the supply list. And me and Nick are there like 2 months into our business, like, oh my god, we signed DHL.
Yeah. We'll retire now.
So we put this guy in, and he's like, we're having to fork out like 500 quid a day or something stupid like that.
Yeah.
And our invoice financing company were like, yeah, but guys, you're not suppliers, and until you become suppliers and you've got clarification from like DHL procurement that you're going to get paid, we're not funding this contract.
Right, okay.
So we're sat there like shit. Like now we're like 4 weeks in, and we're forking out $2,500 at a time, thinking, what do we do?
Yeah.
And then we even started talking to the invoice financing business, and everyone was like, no, we can't touch it.
Someone help us,
Yeah, nobody will touch it.
Well, I think it's because, like, outside of the business world, you're conditioned to, pay your debts.
Yeah.
Deal with cash as much as possible.
Yeah.
Don't use your overdraft.
Yeah.
Don't use your credit card.
Yeah.
Don't take out loans and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Whereas in the business world, it's very much about leverage every bit of
every penny.
opportunity.
If you're
willing to give you something, take it.
If you're one of your clients, for example, why would they pay on day one? They're going to wait and make get as much benefit of that lag time as they can.
Of course,
pay you as late as possible. Generally.
But no, you're right. Yeah,
you got. I think the key to it, having your ducks in a row early. I was doing we did another webinar yesterday internally, and one of the guests was talking about that.
What's it called? Plug it. Come on.
Oh, it's Insights Time with Mike and Rich. It's every month. Have a look on the website. You'll find it.
Yeah, you go.
There you go. Plug in. We had a guest, a guy called Howard Greenwoods from Jump Advisory. Really, really good guy, and he helps people sort of scale recruitment businesses. And his message was just get your ducks in a row early, because what you don't want to be doing is scrabbling around after 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 10 weeks, thinking, this is growing quicker than I was expecting. Mm-hmm. I need finance. I need something in place to help me survive. Otherwise you're going under. The stats are scary in terms of startup recruitment businesses and how many fail within the first year. How many fail? I think it's something like 40% failed just because of the cash flow issue alone.
I asked this question to Simon J. I'll ask you the same thing.
Yeah.
Because you still do the kind of meet with the startups that are looking for finance and all that sort of stuff, right? Yeah. Do you ever look at someone and just be like, mate, don't do this? You're not cut out for this. Not names, but like...
I don't say don't do it. I'll maybe say we're not for you.
Not for us.
Yeah, we're not going to work with you because people will jump into it, and I'm sure Simon has a lot of examples
people
like
now thinking, fuck, Rich said that to me.
Mentioning no names, but there are people who aren't ready. There are people that we speak to a lot of people who are coming from a non-recruitment background. So I speak to a lot of healthcare workers. They've maybe been in an admin role in healthcare, or even an internal recruitment role.
Paul
in
said
HR.
that, didn't he? Paul from Zodec.
Right.
He said the same thing. He's like, the amount of people that he's meeting at the minute who are like lorry drivers, healthcare
thinking I'll
workers.
just
a lot of people said that. So we're actually dedicating we're creating, as part of our kind of Rec Tools roadmap is a resources section on the site that's going to be purely dedicated to new entrants into the recruitment world.
Great.
So kind of helping them, supporting them, having like kind of talk to expert sections. Yeah. Things like terms of business. You haven't thought about that, but here's a sample terms of business. Here's a sample contractor terms. Here's the kind of articles and stuff that me and BB are working on. Things like the 10 things you need to start your recruitment in business. Because again, unfortunately, these are the guys that end up signing into £500-600 a month CRMs and all singing, all dancing, bells and whistles things because they're like, I think I need this. And not realise kind of that actually there's probably some of these things you don't need yet. And there's probably some of these things that are available for a lot less than what you're paying. But because you're new to it, it's exciting. I'm starting my own business. It's going to be great.
And you want the best of the best, don't you?
For everybody? You do, and it's different for everybody. But you're not going to need all of that to start with. The key thing is try and spend as little money as possible from day one.
Mobile phone, Excel spreadsheet,
and Giant Plus,
and Giant Finance. That's
Giant Finance.
Rich Berrisford. That's what you need. Just like Rich Berrisford in your corner, and you're good.
But so we speak to a lot of people who are coming from that sort of background, thinking I can set up a recruitment business because the barriers to entry are so low. Which is great because you can then set up. But you've got to know what you're doing. You've got to plan ahead. You've got to know where you're going to be in 6 months, 12 months, 18 months. Otherwise, it's not going to work. So we do. To answer your question, we do turn people away because we've got. There's compliance checks as well. We do.
Care,
exactly. We don't want to. We've got there's a risk element on us. We don't want to take an undue risk, so we're doing our due diligence. But at the same time, if we don't think someone's going to get up and not necessarily not make a success of it, but not necessarily be the right fit for us, because it's all about it's all about relationship, isn't it? Sales.
Yeah.
Having that relationship in place is key. If you're building a relationship based on a sort of false premise almost, that if you don't think they're going to make it, you don't think they're going to grow, what's the point? What is the point in going into that relationship? Yeah. You've got to know that they're going to be in it for the long haul, that we're the right fit, that we can support them. So a lot of it is down to that, and just having that, it's almost a gut feeling, isn't it?
We've seen that a few times, and I kind of liken that to, do you know when we interview internal recruiters who want to come back into agency?
Right.
I liken it to that really, in that a lot of the times people use that as a start, because the barrier to entry, and you've said it 100 times before, to get into recruitment, the barrier to entry is very, very low.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if an internal recruiter at some point is like, do you know what, I've been made redundant, I'm having a bit of a shitty time at the minute trying to find another in-house role.
Well, there's a lot of internal recruiters that are out of work at the minute. Yeah. They're really good people, and they're having to turn to doing things like agency, working for themselves, or setting up their own agencies, or going to work for an agency, just to kind of bridge the gap almost.
Yeah, and the problem is though, is it comes across as that as well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
As a bridge the gap.
Mm. Yeah.
Because if you're a healthcare professional or a lorry driver or an accountant or whatever, and you think, do you know what?
Yeah.
It's a bit of a challenging time. Yeah. Let me just, I've got people connected, so let me just set up a recruitment business. I'll just do that for the time being. Yeah. And if you see it as a 6-month stint, you're going to be like,
it will work. It does work. It has worked in the past. Don't get me wrong. We've taken on clients who have done that, and it's just grown, and it's been fantastic. But there's also times where it just doesn't work, and you
but that's the exception, not the rule, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where
I know of a group of very talented technical engineers. Yeah. Who did exactly that? They were like, we should just set up a recruitment business. This is like, we've seen the invoices these guys charge.
Yeah.
We know the people. We know the product. We know we could really do this. And so they set up, the two of them, put their own money in, brought on a experienced recruiter, basically had less than 12 months experience, and then brought in somebody who knew the recruitment world.
Yeah.
Day one, and this is a first-hand experience that was kind of laid out to me. Day one, they sat in their offices and they're like, right then, guys. How do we get clients? What do we do first?
Yeah. What now?
And they all kind of looked at each other like, what? You haven't got any clients?
Yeah.
No. That's what you're here for. And the recruiter, bless him, was sort of like, well, I mean, I can't touch the clients I've just been working with.
Yeah, and if they're not like 360 recruiters as well, they're not going to know how to do that anyway.
Exactly.
So,
and she told me it took them something to the tune of 7 weeks before they picked up their first actual proper tangible vacancy.
Right.
Because they were just sort of like, right, what do we do?
Yeah.
How do we do this now?
Yeah.
Like, what's the next step?
Leading the blind almost, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, that's how she described it, didn't she? She was just like, in the end, they just started looking at Indeed and seeing what jobs are out there and just blasting the phone and just calling people and be like, look, I know you're recruiting, can we help?
That's what it's about, isn't it? Yeah, some just hit the phones and
just lead chase.
It's hard work.
Build it up.
It's hard work.
The reality is that there's definitely the element of kind of just picking up the phone and going for it, but there's also the kind of the added value in that bit there is you really pick up how you get it wrong.
Yeah, well, you learn by doing, don't you? And that's how I learn, to be honest. That's how I need to do things. You just get on with it. And you make mistakes and you learn from them, don't you?
Have you ever looked back at emails that you sent like years ago? And then you look at that and you're like, that's cringy.
I try not to be honest. I try not to.
I've done it a few times. When I'm trying to find a contact or I'm trying to find something, I'm like, I'm sure I know that person. I'll type it in and I'm like, oh, gross. Look at that.
No wonder they didn't come back to me. I wouldn't come back to me.
But like, that's how you learn, isn't it? You do things, you get things wrong, you try different things, you always got to be evolving. As a business, I guess, but also in sales, you've got to keep changing the way you're doing things.
How do you find selling to recruiters?
Do you know what? I love it. I do, because like I said, I've never been in recruitment as such. I've not been a recruiter. I never want to be. That's not my plan at all. And I kind of just fell into working in the recruitment sector. I think a lot of people do. I sort of came out of uni, didn't have a degree, dropped out, and pretty sure I told my employer that. I don't think that's a surprise.
Shit, yeah, imagine that.
The
boss is like,
check his HR file. Redact that.
Yeah, Nate will edit that bit out.
I'm old enough for that to be completely irrelevant now anyway. And I sort of went into accountancy, did a few years there, did a few qualifications, and then worked for an umbrella company years and years ago. Didn't even know what an umbrella company was then, payroll, never heard of it.
Until you're in the recruitment world, nobody does.
No. Yeah. So then worked my way through and sort of learn on the job and then you gradually sort of move from role, and then I did umbrella payroll, and then about 6 or 7 years ago, fell into Invoice Finance and sort of finally found my niche, I think, there.
Is it funny, the recruitment sector is the biggest like crater in the world, isn't it, where people just fall into it all the time?
Yeah. No one can get out of it. Yeah,
Bucket of crabs.
They're
rolling each other out, like, no, I'll pay you more, stay.
exactly. So yeah, you sort of fall into it, and yeah, I think part of the thing that keeps me here is dealing with people like you guys and other recruiters, and I prefer working with MDs and FDs and the sort of senior level as opposed to consultants.
Decision makers.
Decision makers. That's just a personal thing for me. A lot of the umbrella sales is about working with consultants and sort of selling to them.
To use,
exactly, and buying into that.
Yeah.
But I prefer this sort of decision making
the challenge
level
that you have in that world, and we know a load of consultants who used to love being courted by umbrella companies, because they rarely get sold to. The problem is, if you're a consultant, you're doing the cold calling, you're constantly the one going out doing.
It's nice to be on the receiving end.
You're right, and it's a bit of a game, isn't it? Almost in that world, and they're because they've got options on the table to put their candidates to, and they're sort of, why should I choose you as an umbrella company? Come and wine and dine me.
With my business. Whereas for 9 times out of 10, you're the one bashing the phone, trying to call through to FDs and all that sort of stuff.
Hearing no's all the time.
Whereas, when you're talking to decision makers, it's an easy conversation because I get where you're at.
Yeah.
Here's how we can help. If you want it, you can. If you don't, you don't.
I've got something that's going to really improve your business. Tell me what your problems are. We'll come up with a solution for you, and work that way, as opposed to just sort of throwing stuff out at as many people as possible and hoping something sticks and trying to grow.
So on that, then, how does Giant Finance Plus or Giant ID or Invoice Factory, how does that then differ then, or how are you competing then with the known entities in that market? Because you've got some big boys in that market.
Yeah, it's extremely competitive, and you're now going up against high street banks who are also fighting for that same business.
They're hungry for the recruitment business. Those high street banks, aren't they?
They are. A lot of them are. So some of them are sort of starting to pull back a bit now. And to be honest, it's different. Like, we don't compete with them. To be perfectly honest, we can't compete with high street banks in terms of price.
So no point trying.
So there's no point trying because they're lending their own money. Their prices are really low.
They're lending our money, mate, is what they're doing.
Well, exactly. They're lending my money.
Do you know what I mean?
So
is in the because you guys are still having to bank with a high street bank, and therefore there's a interest rate difference in the middle that's got to be accounted for.
So what we're selling is a sort of a fully sort of full back office service. So you go and get a confidential facility from a bank. Great. You might get 80% prepayment. You might have a low service charge, but you'll have your discounting fee to pay. There'll be all sorts of minimum requirements. There'll be annual charges,
and all the time it's going to take. You've got to do all the invoicing yourself.
And they don't know recruitment.
Credit control yourself. You can do everything yourself.
They don't know your business. They don't know your sector necessarily. Whereas Giant Finance does. Our competitors that I won't name, but you know who they are. They know the business. They know the sector. So they'll we'll do all the back office for you. We'll do all the payroll, timesheets, deal with all of that. If you're a new start recruiter that we were talking about, you don't. If you've come from an existing employment role, you might be top biller. You know everything about your industry. You know everything about recruitment. You're fantastic. You come to set up your own business. You go, oh, hang on, I've got to do what? I've got to do accounts, VAT, I've got to set up a website, I've got to do my IT, there's so much going on.
Do you know, we were lucky in that it was you and I that set, and Nitin and I have very opposing strengths and development areas. And because he's so super creative, I can rely on him to just get all of our marketing and all that sort of stuff done. And because I'm so anal retentive about other stuff, he can just rely on me to just make sure that I'm spotting the little things that are going totally wrong.
I don't have access to our bank. I just, my online banking doesn't work. I know how to use it and stuff. I can't be asked to set it up. And I remember having a conversation with him. I was like, mate, I get palpitations when and I get really I look at something that's gone out and I'm like, bank balance is getting a bit low, and then that impacts the way that I am with the team. And I'm usually the more laughy, jokey, jovial one. And then when I come in a bad mood because I'm like, the bank account's 10 grand less than where it needed to be, and I'm now pissed off, and I'm going to be mean to all of you. They're all sort of like, something's really bad, something's really going wrong, right? They expect Sean to give them an arse kicking every day or every other day, right? They don't expect that from me.
And
I
good cop, bad cop.
But I had to accept that and kind of be like, mate, I need you to do the banking. I can't do it. I physically can't do it because I'm sitting up at night like fretting about it, and there's nothing to fret about. This is the way I am.
But that's good because you both got the strengths that you bring to the partnership.
That's
it obviously works well.
Yeah, whereas he'll come up to me and be like, I think we need to redo the website, and I'm like, okay, what ideas have you got? I was like, we need to redo the website.
That's my idea.
That's my idea. Yeah. Now go and make the website do like something different. And we're like, okay.
Yeah. But it's obviously because you guys have been going for 6, 7 years, 6 years,
6 years this year. Yeah,
fantastic. So it's obviously working, and that from a if I put my new business giant finance hat on, if I'm speaking to someone like you guys, we met about a year ago, I think, to talk about this, and we'll get you one day. We'll get you one day.
Well, Simon J took 5 years. So.
Exactly. But meeting you then and chatting now, you can see that it's exactly the sort of business that an invoice finance company would want. Because you know your stuff, you've got a good brand, you've got a good team.
I can tell you now, it makes a world of difference from being on this side of the fence. It makes a world of difference speaking to people who know the recruitment industry.
Yeah.
Because look, our supplier now, they're great. It's somebody who's been in the recruitment world for pretty much their entire professional career. Yeah. They're a decent sized business. They know what they're doing, and we have line of sight to the MD. So anytime something goes wrong, it's just a case of listen, look, we need this sorted out. Yeah. But they're big enough for them to be competitive as well. Whereas when we spoke to the high street banks and kind of the other big players who are cash rich and can use their own funding and all that, I won't name the names, but there are big players out there. Yeah. And they all claim to be, but we've got recruitment clients and we are recruitment specific. No, you might have recruitment clients and you might have some knowledge in the recruitment world, but can you do what Giant do? Yeah. Or can you do what insert other recruitment specific provider can do?
Because you've then got to go out and sort out your back office and your timesheets and payroll, and it's an added cost. So it might be cheaper to do it with a bank,
but the overall cost is more
expensive. Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Also you've got to put a time then on your a cost on your own time as well.
Yeah, true.
Because
very true.
We've been touted by Lloyd's recently. When it was last week or the week before, they were kind of like, we've got to do promotional offers and all that sort of stuff. And I'm like, guys, look, you quote me by all means. I'm never going to sit there and say no to a quote, right? But the truth of the matter is, I get a back office service, I get invoicing services, I got a timesheet portal that I have access to, all for the price that I'm getting at the minute. Yeah. So your quote has to be a damn sight cheaper for me to even consider that. Yeah. And even when you do, I'm still going to take that to my own provider and be like, listen, this is what the market's doing. Yeah. Talk to me.
Yeah, absolutely. But it comes back to that point. It pays to know your market that you're selling into.
So a bit of inside, asking for inside access then for a second. Yeah. What's the average tenure of a business with their invoice financing company? Like, how often do they tend to change?
Well, do you know what? There's quite a bit of churn. We're lucky. I think our customer service levels are really good. So I think our average tenure is about 4 years, something like that. Don't quote me on that, but it's longer than average within the sector, because it's customer service that keeps people. Price is important. Systems are very important, but I think customer service is key, especially when you're talking about people's money and helping you grow business. Because that's what we're doing effectively. We're providing a platform almost for you to build on and provide that cash flow and increasing that.
Because the reason I ask that, there will be agency owners watching this that are kind of like, I'm with the same people I set up years ago. I haven't even thought about moving. I haven't even looked at it.
It always pays to look, because you never know. You never know what else was out there. I think there is quite a high churn across the industry. People will probably be looking every year. And there's external factors as to why people will want to change. It may be that they're being restricted on their credit limits and their funding limits for various reasons. That the insurance isn't there, or there's too much exposure at that particular funder. It may be that there's problems with them as a business, and that funder wants to move them on for whatever reason. Could just be a relationship thing, doesn't quite fit. That happens every now and again. So there's internal reasons why people are going to want to move.
There are a lot of silent killers as well. Like the concentration limit is a big thing, isn't it? Like concentrations that
can have a massive impact.
Especially if you're a new startup, or if you're I'm a healthcare professional or a lorry driver or accountant or whoever, and I'm going to set up. I've come from insert healthcare business or transport business.
That's going to be your main client.
That's my only client. Your concentration is 100%.
Yeah, that's key. So, and again, it pays to do your research. Know what you're getting into beforehand. We're fine with 100% concentration. So we've got, we work with a lot of new start recruiters. That's kind of, we almost target them to a certain extent, because that's the sort of, we want to help them grow. We've got bigger clients. Obviously, we scale up and we have the full gamut.
Do you guys work with brokers as well?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we work with brokers. So we work with brokers.
So you're not the direct line of the
No, we're not sort of aloof and holding ourselves ourselves out. No, we do work with brokers. You mentioned Simon earlier. We work with Simon and Ian there.
Bobby Russell.
Contacts.
He's coming on the podcast soon.
Oh, is he? Yeah. We work with Contacts. Yeah, there's because it's quite a niche sector, the invoice finance for recruitment. It's different to generic invoice finance. There's a lot of brokers out there that will do asset-based lending and finance and lots of different finance solutions. But there's a more niche then brokerage market almost for recruitment specific finance products. Yeah. So there's not many brokers out there broken into this sector, but that's where a lot of leads will come from.
The reason I ask this is because you're not a kind of traditional salesy person, right?
No, I think that's fair enough.
Recently started using a lot more of LinkedIn, so we're talking off camera and stuff. But I think from my experience, I've noticed that there's in the invoice finance world within kind of recruitment, there almost seems to be two types. There seem to be some really aggressive types that just want to win your business. Yeah. And now I imagine these people are targeted to do multiple deals a week and that kind of thing. Yeah. And then there's, are you working to similar KPIs to these aggressive salespeople? Is it your tactic, or I don't know how many deals a month guys in the invoice financing world do, right? But is it a personality trait? Is it a KPIs and metrics trait? What is it?
It is. Yeah, I've got targets, that we work towards. We do as a business. But I always kind of I know I'm not your traditional sales guy. Going out and being aggressive and just closing deals left, right, centre. That's what I aim to do. But I'm not going to do it in that traditional old-fashioned way of being a bullish kind of sales guy and just not taking no for an answer. Because I think in invoice finance, it's about that relationship again. As I said, I could go and try and sell to 20 recruitment agencies, but 19 of them aren't going to be the right fit anyway. For one reason, either from us to them or from them to us, it's just not going to work. So why go for that scattergun approach when it's not going to work? It's about building that relationship, making sure you can fulfill the needs of your client. And there's so many moving parts to an invoice finance facility. You've got to make sure you've got everything in place. That's a fair point, isn't it? I think I am more of a relationship based salesperson. That's what I go out and do. And I'm on LinkedIn a bit more now, trying to get my brand out there and do these sorts of webinars, as much as I don't necessarily want to do it all the time.
What made you kind of think?
Because it works. I think that's why, because you can see that it works. The people that I see on LinkedIn a lot, I feel like I know them a bit more, and I've never met half of them, and I sort of think, well, why do I think that? It's because they're always on LinkedIn. They're putting videos, photos, posts up all the time about themselves.
Fair point,
and then you can speak to a client maybe in 6-12 months. And they'll go, oh, you're that guy I've seen you on LinkedIn. LinkedIn's free. Why wouldn't you use it for that sort of thing? So as much as I don't always want to do it and put yourself out there, because I'm not an extrovert. I think it's fair to say. No. You just kind of got to just do it and go along with it, and then I think the business will come. Because people sort of know you a bit more. It's kind of personal branding almost to a certain extent, isn't it?
Nathan's favourite term, that is.
As much as I hate that sort of phrase, but that's kind of what it is.
I don't like the phrase, but I agree with the concept.
Yeah, and hopefully it'll work. We'll see how it goes. People might not like me. That's fair enough. It's up to them. But
I think talking from experience, the conversation, because you came down with. Who did you come down with? You came down with your colleague who was doing the umbrella stuff.
Yes, that's right.
Because I think the proposition was, we'll do your umbrella and we'll do your invoice financing. Because actually, the issue we were having was that our umbrella and our invoice finance
disconnect there, wasn't there?
Yeah, they were butting heads all the time. And the sell was, look, actually, you can, we're talking to each other, so you don't even have to do any of that.
Absolutely.
And that is super, super helpful. Yeah. And actually, there's no reason for you to be bullish in that sense either, because you've got the brand behind you in Giant.
Exactly. And it works well. You know, if we, being honest, we want customers, we want more deals over the line, we want people to be as sticky as possible. Let's be honest, within our group. That's why we've got umbrella, we've got finance, we've got timesheets, we've got.
It makes it more difficult for them to leave as well.
Exactly, and that's the point. In a good way. In a good way.
Yeah, but you become so embedded. I mean, it's the perfect business solution, isn't it? If I can become, as recruiters, we want to do it to every client we work with. Yeah. We want to become an extension of your business. Yeah. We want to be your recruitment team, and so on and so forth.
And what you do with rec tools and that side of things, that's great, because people are going to come to you and think, oh, great, these guys know what they're talking about. Yeah. They've got all these products, and who knows where that leads, into different different
I
conversations.
had a conversation with a client the other day, and we were chuffed to bits, weren't we? In that he's an internal recruitment manager, and he was like, "Yeah, actually, he goes, my team have got rec tools on a bookmark." So
Right.
we end up every morning we open like LinkedIn, our CRM, all that sort of stuff, and we open rec tools with it because they use the AI Playground. They jump onto kind of all the providers. And if you think about it, if that's an in-house team using it, all of a sudden that opens you guys up to a whole different kettle of fish.
Oh, absolutely,
in what your offering is.
Yeah. Well, that's the point. So we're on the RecTools website, and hopefully that's getting us in front of a lot of eyeballs we wouldn't be in front of otherwise.
Yeah. This is it. Yeah.
So it makes total sense. And talking about the different product lines, so we've got the timesheets, we've got finance, payroll. We're just sort of launching a new ATS system as well called Giant Recruit. That we're going to be sort of talking a lot more about. So hopefully everyone will hear a bit more about that in the coming months. So something we're kind of speaking to our existing finance clients about, going out to market and developing that, just to try and again another service line that we can help our recruitment customers with.
Can you tell us a bit about what is in Giant Recruit? And what?
Yeah. So it's an ATS basically. So it'll do third-party jobs board posting, CV parsing, and it's kind of a talent pool database for your candidates.
Excellent.
It's perfect for kind of smaller recruitment agencies, I would say, who maybe don't have much of an online presence. We can develop that for them, and it's then also they're ready-made for jobs for applicants to come to apply for jobs directly on their website as opposed to via a third-party jobs board. It will still post jobs out to those boards that you might be supplied into, but it's a kind of a direct site for them to come to you. And then you've got that talent pool that you can build. You can search your candidates with this talent pool as well, so you can then go out and market to them when you get jobs coming in. So it's we're trying to just add these tools to our
those volume-based agencies, especially that kind of small growing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
When's that likely to go out?
Well, we're speaking to clients now. We've got I think there's a couple of clients currently using it, and it's going down really well.
Cool.
So we're just speaking to as many of our current clients as possible at the minute. Any new clients that come on board with Giant Finance as well, we'll have a conversation. We'll give them a demo, and hopefully get them signed up, and we'll build that into the.
Well, if you get Holly to reach out to me, let's get you guys onto
absolutely
onto RecTools, definitely.
That'd be great. Yeah.
So how's it going to? Is it a chargeable service then, or are you doing it as like a value add?
It's a value add really for the Giant Finance side. So it's been thrown in for now at least as part of our Giant Finance Plus offering. So you'll get Invoice Finance, you'll get payroll, you'll get this applicant tracking system as well, and it all then ties back into our software.
I like the fact that you're pushing it out as a value add, especially for startups. The bulk of startups that I'm speaking to through RecTools at the minute, their biggest concern is exactly that. Is that there's just not enough freebies out there. There's not enough kind of something to get them started, to give them a bit of a taste of, look, if you do it this way, this could be a way to get kind of growing and scaling, which is why we're going to be dedicating an entire section to startup and scalers to be like, look, these things are out there for free. Because look, the reality is, from what you've kind of described, it's not a complex build from a developer standpoint. That's not a complicated build. But the functionality, the value that functionality brings is massive.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so
if you're going to be paying for invoice financing anyway,
this is it. You can do the traditional stuff and kind of go like, right, do you know what? We know that the ATS is out there. We know that the average cost of an ATS is £50 per user per month. So let's just price it slightly lower than that and push it out to all our existing customers. Or you can kind of be like, well, I mean, that £50 isn't really going to break our business.
No.
This isn't a core proposition.
No.
Let's put it out there for free. Which is what we did with the AI Playground. It was like, there's people out there who aren't using AI that should be using AI for their recruitment businesses. Let's create it, put it in one place, fine tune it, and just let people at it. Go and use it, and get an idea of it. And then when you're really comfortable using AI, then go and pay for the product.
Exactly. And we sort of found that a lot of newer recruitment agencies, even existing long established agencies, will be using a CRM. Paying through the nose for it, but won't maybe be using like 70% or 30% of it, and they won't be using 70%. So do they need it? So when we were sort of looking at the market, and there's a lot of CRM providers out there, there's a lot of ATS providers out there, but there's nothing really that ties it all together from start to finish. So from applicants and jobs posting all the way through to financing, payroll, client invoicing, credit control.
I suppose your proposition is very kind of 180 in that sense, in that you're catering for the recruiter. more towards the candidate side, aren't you?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Because you got the umbrella stuff obviously is towards for the candidates anyway. The invoice discount stuff is for temps.
Yeah.
Then you've got the ATS, which again is more candidate led. The job board posting is more candidate led because you're trying to chase up. So a lot of your stuff is very, very kind of candidate driven, isn't it?
It is. But basically what we want to say is that we'll do everything for you apart from the recruitment. Do you know what I mean? You go and do what you do best. Go and win new clients. And we'll.
And if you still can't do that, we've made a mistake.
If you still can't do that, then we'll see what we can do. But we want to try and make sure that we're providing
for us.
we want to make sure that we're doing everything we possibly can to help you as a business to succeed and give you those platforms to go out and just tools to use.
I always say to all of our suppliers, right, that actually you shouldn't know that I should know that you're there. If you're a good supplier, I shouldn't know that you're there.
Totally.
And I shouldn't be hearing your name at all unless something's gone wrong.
Yeah.
Or unless I need something.
Yeah.
But at no point should I constantly be having this has happened with
having
Giants.
to speak to them.
It should be the case.
It needs to be seamless, doesn't it? Yeah. It's like a good ref. If there's a good ref, you don't know they're there. You never hear the name. So you want it to be seamless. And again, it comes down to having a good relationship and. We pride ourselves on that. The fact that we're looking ahead almost. Our credit team and our client services team are looking at facilities that we've got live with current clients. They're making sure that, okay, so where's this particular client going? It looks like it's growing. Let's speak to them. Speak to the agency. Do we need to increase this limit? Do we need to, and we're just trying to manage it for you so that when our clients do come to us, we can say, yeah, that's it. That's fine. We've got a solution for that. We've already looked at it.
Yeah,
we can help you there.
Yeah,
exactly.
This come in.
Yeah, instead of you picking up the phone and saying, what's going on? My funding line's been restricted. Why is that? We want to be ahead of that.
Because the thing is, if I'm picking up the phone to talk to you about an issue, I'm also now, and this is to me because I'm a serial complainer anyway. But for me, it's like I'm going to start having a look at who else is out there.
Yeah, totally.
And what you want to do is you want to avoid that, right? You want to be proactive with it and be like, actually, you know what? Look, Market Charm Group, you guys have got X amount of concentration with X client, or you've got X amount of funding limits or you've got such and such client who's not paying invoices. Can you guys get involved, or however that looked? Yeah. It needs to be a level of proactivity, right? And
it's a risk element as well for us, because we want to make sure that we're protecting our interests here. Let's be honest, we're in it to make money.
Business, right?
But by doing that, we're also then improving the lives of our customers almost. Making sure that they're kind of the user friendliness of our
That's a stretch
service.
That statement was, wasn't it? He's trying to figure his way into it.
I started that sentence without knowing where I was going, I'll be honest. But we want to make sure that we're making it as easy as possible, basically, for our customers. 100%. And that's the bottom line, isn't it? Making sure that we're not causing problems, we're solving the problem.
Yeah, and I think that's probably the best way to put it, is that you shouldn't be the cause of the problems.
Yeah.
Our last ID provider, they were the cause of our problems, and that's why we ended up moving away from them. And funnily enough, they called us not long ago to BD. Sky picked up the phone and they were like, yeah, look, we're just seeing if you'd be open to coming back to us. We've got some great offers. Sky's like, yeah, no chance. She didn't even. Yeah, she didn't entertain having a conversation with me. She was just like, yeah, absolutely not. We're not going back to that shit again.
Yeah, it's you don't want to burn bridges, do you? Either you want to make sure that you keep that. We have customers leave us, of course we do. But for the right reasons. So we want to leave those doors open, and things like the Giant Recruit ATS are again things that we can sort of offer to say, look, we can throw this in, but come back. We've got this now. We're always evolving, always trying to grow. Instead of just doing the same thing day in, day out, which might be fine, but you're growing as a business, you're changing all the time. Our customers are doing the same, so you've kind of got to give new services, give new offerings, and try and grow with them and make them want to stay with you. And that's kind of the thinking there.
How long was the ATS in development?
Quite a while, I think. It's been around for a while, and we're maybe just sort of trying to reposition it so it's more sort of facing towards the recruitment agency clients we've got, because Giant Group as a whole has obviously got lots of different client bases. We've got end hirers, we've got different client bases, but from a Giant Finance point of view, it's sort of been tweaked slightly, so it's now a recruitment
to be able to
tool.
push in for
absolutely. So I've not been involved in the development side, but it's been in gestation for a while. I know that, and we're now just sort of getting it out there, and hopefully we'll be getting lots more clients coming on board and lots more demos coming up, and a lot of interest being generated.
So is it yourself then that's pushing the recruit stuff? Yeah. So
it'll be me that's talking about that. So if anybody's got any questions on the recruit side, on the ATS bit that we're doing, you'll see a lot more from me, I think, over the coming weeks and months on LinkedIn about about the system. So yeah,
it's massively valuable. I was saying to Rich off camera when we first started with our invoice finance provider.
Yeah.
We had a free to use CRM, which when we had the free to use CRM, it was wicked because it was just like, okay, look, it's basic, but it does everything we need to do.
Yeah.
The minute they start charging for it and what they want, it was like, look, it's.
But it shaped the way for how we did business. We then, when we did move away from them and so on and so forth, we've remained with the CRM. We had a period of time for I think 6 weeks where we were in between CRMs and we didn't have one.
Yeah.
And we really felt the difference. Whereas it's one of those things where if you've never had something, you never realise what you're missing. Right?
Absolutely.
So I think it's vital. I think for any new startup going into kind of a recruitment business, get a good database management system, whatever that might be, whether that's an ATS,
you don't necessarily need it all singing or dancing.
Exactly, there's freebie things out there like HubSpot or Zoho Recruit. But just get somewhere where you can kind of centralise all your data. And so you get into that habit of kind of knowing where everything is.
So it goes back to your point of having ducks in a row, isn't it?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and making sure you've got that platform to sort of fall back on to and build again, because things might go wrong in 6 months, 3 months, 6 months. If you've got that foundation there to build from again, you know exactly where you are. And you mentioned the word habit there. Habit is hugely important. I think I heard a stat recently: 40% of our day is habit. So if you get those habits right. Even if it's just doing your sales calls or emails, right? Making a cup of tea, having lunch.
It's got to be, innit? Think about it. Do you remember how you got into work this morning? Do you remember getting up and brushing your teeth? Do you remember? You know what I mean? Like, you just do it, don't you?
Yeah.
No, but you just do it.
It's just almost like autopilot, isn't it? How did I even get all these things that you're just doing, because you've always done it. So if you can get yourself into those good habits, then.
Yeah, studies show that about 40% of people's daily activities are performed each day in almost the same situations.
Yeah, so it's getting those habits right, and if you can start on the right foot from day one and have the right systems in place to help you make those good habits, then why wouldn't you do that? Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So I think a good place to close would be where your views are on kind of current market trends and where we're heading as an industry.
What recruitment?
Recruitment. Yeah.
Well, do you know what?
Economy.
Yeah, the economy. Yeah, getting a grilling. Do you know what? I mean. AI and generative AI and ChatGPT and all this sort of stuff, I feel like it's only kind of really been around for the last few months. It might have been around for a lot longer, but in the public consciousness, it's not been around for that long.
Absolutely.
But there's so many new functions and new products being developed within recruitment. It's scary how fast things are changing all of a sudden. I'm sure you guys see that. You guys are in lots of groups. I'm in lots of groups, and people are coming out with these new tools all the time. To developing a GPT tool to talk to a CRM, for example.
I
saw that.
Yeah. Dropped about it yesterday through Zapier.
Yeah, unbelievable. I almost feel like I'm behind the curve on it already, because only a few months ago, you sort of start hearing about GPT.
That's a really good point. And I think for a lot of our listeners and stuff, it's important to make people aware that the growth within AI is like 10x.
It is exponential, isn't it? Yeah.
Very, very, very few people, even people in the tech world, are up to speed with these large language models can actually do. Yeah. And a lot of the time they don't even know what they can do until it does it, and then you're like, oh shit, it can do that as well.
Yeah.
Which is why they're having to patch a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of people in that same boat where they're like, I've missed it.
Yeah.
I've missed it. And this isn't like the crypto boom where you're like, oh no, it's gone now. This isn't gone. This isn't going away. This is kind of the future. It
is here, isn't it? And you've got to embrace it, I think.
And there's so many people that just won't.
Yeah.
There's a case at the moment though, isn't it, where they're sitting here saying that actually it will only be a matter of another couple of years before we won't be able to turn off AI. Because it's going to be so self-aware that no.
It's not even the self-awareness thing. It's the ingrainment of it in society, right?
Yeah.
Think about tomorrow if they went, okay, we've done the research. The internet is bad, right? There's the dark web. There's abuse. There's lots of disgusting, horrible things that happen because of the internet. We're going to switch it off tomorrow. The world will collapse because everything is on the internet, right?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
In exactly the same way, I think where like AI and these large language models are now. I read somewhere that where they were talking about kind of describing it. And they're like, right now it's literally like a single cell organism amoeba type thing, and it is going to evolve in exactly the way kind of like nature intended, sort of thing. and it will evolve just a lot faster than you think.
Yeah.
And this time next year, I mean, you can see there's a picture doing the rounds at the minute where the same large language model they use for an AI generation of a boy, and it's literally month by month by month, it's got so much better where it now looks like a real picture of a real person from this weird obscure Picasso looking thing.
Yeah.
And that's how quickly the intelligence level is growing.
It's here, and it's kind of becoming part of day-to-day life already. It has been for a while, but now it's more prevalent, and just because it's more intelligent, for want of a better word.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's part of a recruitment deck now, if you like. It's a tool there that's to be used. And
if it isn't part of your recruitment deck at the minute, it certainly needs to become.
Yeah, I think so.
You need to kind of get over this initial
seems to be
fear factor and just jump in and use it, because everyone else is going to be using it.
Seems to be the way it's going. So I think we're going to see a lot more about that. And but yeah, look, just generally from a finance point of view, we started talking about it at the very start. Finances, it's something that almost all companies will need, particularly in recruitment.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a great tool. Even if you don't know companies using it, they generally are. So I think finding the right company for you, finding the best fit is crucial.
I think explain to people about the risk of using their own cash flow is because even if you've got, because a lot of people will look at it and think, well, I've got cash in the bank, I don't need to invoice finance.
Yeah.
The truth of the matter is, it's your cash.
Yeah.
Not,
exactly.
Not ours. Right. So if you're going to credit control it.
Yeah. And the growth as well. If you're starting out placing a handful of candidates, it might be a few grand a week, maybe. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, multiply that by 4 or 5 weeks, it gets expensive. And then if you grow, which is what everyone wants, you're suddenly in a really, really, really risky situation. If one of your debtors goes under, then you've got a serious issue on your hands. It could be catastrophic for your business. So making sure you've got that risk mitigated is massive.
And generally speaking, the cost of a credit controller is a lot more than the cost of invoice financing.
Yeah. Oh, it is. Yeah. Yeah, it is. And finding a company that can do it all for you is key, I think. Whatever size of business you are in recruitment, having someone there that can do all of that sort of boring admin stuff, all the boring numbers, having someone there that can do all that for you is a massive help to help you grow to the next level.
Do you guys then do you do factoring as well as sort of confidential?
Yeah, so we don't do confidential. We just do straightforward invoice factoring. So it's a 100% invoice factoring facility that comes with all the back office bits and bobs, all the payroll, timesheets, credit control. Yeah, so that's what we do. That's our kind of.
So for those people that don't know the difference between invoice financing and invoice factoring.
Yeah.
Do you want to, or invoice discounting and invoice factoring?
Yeah. So discounting effectively is there's no credit control involved. It might be confidential so that your end client doesn't know that you're factoring
using
the money.
Facility,
yeah. Whereas invoice factoring is much more straightforward. It's you'll generally have the credit control being done by the factorer. It's quite often in recruitment, at least, it's 100% facility. So it's.
And what does that mean again for those people that?
So
don't
that's
know?
basically we're gonna give you all the money of an invoice up front. So as opposed to just getting 80% or 90% of that invoice value to then use for what you need, generally payroll, we'll give you all of it. So we're effectively financing your margin up front as well. Again, from a cash flow point of view, it's really useful because you've got that money then to reinvest and to do what you want to do.
So do you do it in a sense then? So timesheets go in, and let's say the client invoices 10 grand, payroll cost is 8 grand, and then you would then transfer 2 grand to your
basically
your
less our fee, so that's what you get, and you can then draw down. You can leave it in the facility to build up a bit of a pot there as well if you want, but that's your money, and then we do the credit control, chase that money in. Once that's paid, then the circle's complete almost on that invoice. And
so you pay the umbrella providers or the payroll providers,
do the payroll directly if needs be as well via PAYE. We'll do all that internally on our client's behalf.
Sounds like Sean's boying.
And you do
into a sales
this
pitch.
is turning into a sales pitch. It's into a client meeting.
Yeah, what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to explain, because we know loads of different recruiters who just don't understand invoice discounting,
especially if the trend is the trend, which I mean we discussed this at length, didn't we? But it seems to be that trend is that a lot of people who have no or very little recruitment experience are coming into the market now. Yeah. They don't have a Scooby about any of this sort of stuff.
No, and that's part of
all of this is just foreign
part
language,
of my role almost to sell to people, but also to explain because it's there's a lot to know. There's a lot of moving parts, as I said. You need there's there's a lot of legalities around it, and there's the finance side. It's quite a technical thing.
Yeah.
Which is why it's not just a hi, nice to meet you. Do you want Invoice Finance? Great, done, sold.
Yeah.
It can take months.
Here it is.
Yeah.
Don't open
nicely packaged up. Yeah. Don't call me if it goes wrong. But it can take months, years. We have clients that we speak to for years and years and years before the timing's right or their current situation's right, and you just got to keep in touch. It's about explaining what we do and hopefully having all these extra bells and whistles like the ATS side of things and the payroll and just the wider Giant group as a whole helps people to buy into us a bit more and you can see what we're doing and then we can be a kind of a one-stop shop almost.
Well, I mean, Giant is certainly one of the big players in the recruitment world.
Yeah, they're a mainstay, aren't they?
Yeah,
really?
you're in safe hands, aren't you? So
absolutely.
okay, so Rich, if there's anyone who's in the who's looking to enter the recruitment market, needs your facilities and your offering, how do they get hold of you?
LinkedIn's the best bet. I'm sure my contact details will be on this video. But yeah, go to our website, go to our LinkedIn page. All of our contact details are on there. Get in touch. Happy to arrange demos and conversations. No obligations, just an informal chat. Get in touch.
Appreciate it. Look, appreciate you making time to pop out and see us today.
It's been great. Thank you.
Any final thoughts?
Jerry Springer.
Final thoughts.
He died recently, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
Jerry Springer.
Jerry's dead.
Yeah. So
I thought he was already dead, if I'm honest.
No, I always knew he was
As
back.
far as celebrities, man, if they're off my screen, they're dead to me.
Yeah. Weren't he weirdly kind of marrying really young girls and that?
They all do that, though, don't they?
Yeah, he had a really young wife, didn't he?
I don't know.
Don't know.
Have a look. Yeah, spouse. Where's the spouse?
There we go.
His spouse, he was only with her. Oh, who knows? Right. Anyway.
There's your final thoughts.
Oh no, she's definitely not young.
She's not young. Mickey Velton is not young.
No.
Yeah. Final thoughts.
Yeah, look, it's been great. Thanks for having me, and get in touch. Really.
Final thought is get in touch.
I've had all my thoughts already for the day. Yeah.
Well, final thought should be: where's Carve City? Are we getting
Yeah, because this is going to wear
I think so.
After it's all said
Yeah.
and done.
So
Make the prediction.
Sunday. It's a big ask, isn't it? I think we'll win on Sunday at home, and then it's the playoffs are a lottery, aren't they? Middlesbrough are a tough team.
My father-in-law went to the Middlesbrough game.
Yeah.
And statistically speaking, 75% possession to Middlesbrough and all that sort of stuff. He was like, we were the better team. We looked the better team. We are the better team.
Yeah.
And the goal that we conceded as well is so annoying.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
shit.
Do you watch it?
Heyman switched off, didn't he, at the corner?
What they didn't show was the kind of the build. Do you know why they switched off? Because our fans were fucking around.
Were they?
So the ball went out of play, and our fans were chucking it, and they're hitting it on the barrier and playing Kirby with the barrier, and that happened 4 times.
Right.
So the COF players had just been like, oh, they're just running the clock down.
Yeah.
Like, fair play to
Yeah.
them. And then they got managed to get the ball, and they'll quickly look, right, go, fucking in it goes, bosh, done.
Yeah.
It's our fans that cost us.
But we got away with it as well though, because there was a disallowed goal.
That was embarrassing.
We got away with that.
Yeah.
I think
have you seen what they do with the tickets though?
Borough. Hey?
So the tickets are on sale. Well, they should be on sale. No, later on tonight. Yeah. So they were supposed to go. Season ticket sales were yesterday.
And
you could buy up to 2 as a season ticket holder.
Yeah, my brother got me one. He's a season.
Have you got one?
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah.
So general sale. You could only buy the tickets at the ticket office.
Right.
And you could be one per person. So even if you wanted to take your kid, so if I wanted to take my son, I would have had to queue up with him to get a ticket.
Yeah.
I wonder how many kids are going to go to school today.
But
interesting.
That then changed late at night, and now so ticket sales for season ticket holders have been extended until 4, and then general sales at 8:00.
Oh, okay. I wonder if they're expecting to sell out on the season tickets, because it's about 12,000 season tickets, I think.
Yeah,
and if they're offering a ticket per season ticket,
2.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's like 36,000 already. Yeah.
That'd be good. So what do you reckon? Prediction?
I think.
Are we in the Premier League or not?
It'd be nice to be, but I don't think we are, and I don't think it's the right time for us either. I think it would be too soon. Another year. It's
21 years, Rich. 21 years.
But if you think about it, it's only 5-6 years ago we were in League 2.
Yeah.
And things have changed. We just got the new ownership this year. I think another solid year next year. Build on it. Another good year in the playoffs. Maybe next year's the best year to go.
I don't know, because I think that
safety first, isn't it? Fucking go for it.
Yeah,
lads.
yeah.
Just
No, all about the risk element.
I think that parachute payment that you get when you go up and down.
78 mil.
Yeah, I think that will help.
I mean, look, I'm not gonna. It would be great to go up. I want to go up.
Well, you got
fantastic.
the 78.
I want to make that clear. I want to see it.
I want us to get promoted.
You got the 78 mil from going up, and then the 25 mil for
coming down.
Well, coming down. Come down
year
towards
after
the
next. Yeah.
No, for the Yorkers, the striker.
Gyökeres,
yeah.
Well, that's 25 mil, I reckon. It's either going to be Burnley or Everton.
But if we go up, I mean, why would he leave? Do you know what I mean? It'd be good to cash in.
We
are going straight back down. But
he's not scoring goals
from a romantic point of view.
He's not a Premier League striker. That's why.
No. You say that though, right? And a lot.
Well, he was, and he didn't do anything.
It was Brighton, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. But coming up with a team that he's been playing with 40 odd goals over the last 2 years.
There's a level of kind of
maybe he'll stick around for a year and then go.
Well, let's see. So I reckon up. What do you reckon?
It's a heart and head thing, isn't it? My heart's saying we're definitely going. Like, I'm a die-hard fan when it comes to stuff like this. Like I every year I'll be like, yeah, we're going up. Every World Cup in Euros, yeah, we're winning it. Like I'm then I'm devastated at the end of it.
Yeah.
So
I think the stars have aligned way too much this time.
I think they have the way the season finished
seems to have just gone in the last few games, the results, everything.
New ownership,
everything's
got a good record at Wembley as well.
Yeah, exactly.
And this season, none of the other playoff teams have beat us.
Really?
We drew to Sunderland.
Yeah, that's right.
We beat them in the first game of the season, then we drew.
Yeah.
We drew both games to Luton, and we beat Middlesbrough at home, and then we drew away.
Yeah. Nothing to be scared of, is there?
No.
Yeah.
That's it. Fuck it. Let's put a bet on.
Yeah.
Let's go down bookies now. No, appreciate you coming in, mate.
Yeah, lovely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
We'll
appreciate
let you know when this goes out.
Cheers, Rich.
Lovely.